You know what's funny? Most people think successful people just work harder than everyone else. They wake up at 5 in the morning, they hustle all day, and they somehow get everything done. But here's what nobody tells you. The most successful people you know aren't working harder than you. They've just built better systems. And once you understand how to build these systems, everything changes. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Let me ask you something. Do you ever feel like you're running on a hamster wheel? You wake up, you check your emails, you put out fires all day, and by the time evening comes around, you're exhausted, but you haven't actually moved forward. You've been busy, but you haven't been productive. I was exactly like this for years. I'd work 12-hour days and still feel like I was getting nowhere. I'd make plans every Sunday night about what I wanted to accomplish that week. And by Wednesday, those plans were already in the bin because something urgent came up. Always something urgent. The thing is, most of us have been taught that success comes from hard work. And that's partially true. But hard work without systems is just chaos with effort. You can work yourself into the ground and still not see results because you're not working on the right things in the right way. Think about it like this. If you're trying to fill a bathtub but the drain is open, it doesn't matter how much water you pour in. The tub never fills up. That's what life without systems looks like. You're constantly pouring in effort, but you're not retaining the results. So what exactly is a system? It's not some complicated business framework or fancy productivity app. A system is simply a repeatable process that gets you from point A to point B with the least amount of friction. Let me give you a simple example. Making your morning coffee. If you're like most people, you probably do it the same way every day. You don't wake up and reinvent how to make coffee. You have a process. Kettle on, grab a mug, add coffee, pour water. It's automatic. You've created a system. Now imagine if every single important thing in your life and work had that same level of automation and predictability. That's what we're building here. We're taking the decisions, the chaos, and the mental energy out of your daily routine and replacing it with simple processes that just work. The beautiful thing about systems is they free up your brain. When you don't have to think about how to do something, you can focus on whether it's the right thing to do. That's where real growth happens. There are 5 core systems that every successful person has built, whether they realize it or not. These are the foundations. Get these right and everything else becomes easier. First, there's your capture system. This is how you collect all the information, ideas, and tasks that come at you every day. Second, your priority system. This is how you decide what actually matters. Third, your execution system. This is how you get things done without burning out. Fourth, your learning system. This is how you improve and grow. And fifth, your recovery system. This is how you rest and recharge so you can keep going. Most people have bits and pieces of these, but they've never consciously designed them. So let's break down each one and show you exactly how to build them. Your brain is absolutely terrible at remembering things. It's not designed to be a filing cabinet. It's designed to think and create and solve problems. But most of us treat our brains like storage units. We try to remember everything. The meeting next Tuesday, the idea we had in the shower, the thing we need to buy for dinner, that person we need to email back. This creates constant background stress. Your brain knows it's supposed to remember all this stuff, so it keeps nagging you about it, even when you're trying to relax. The solution is simple. You need one place where everything goes. I don't care if it's a notebook, a phone app, or a voice recorder. Just pick one thing and use it religiously. Every idea, every task, every commitment goes in there immediately. Here's the rule. If it's in your head, it's in the wrong place. The moment something occurs to you, write it down. This isn't about being organized for the sake of it. It's about freeing your mind to actually think instead of just trying to remember. I use a simple notes app on my phone. Anything that pops into my head goes straight in there. Then once a day, usually in the evening, I process everything I've captured, which brings us to the next system. This is where most people fail. They capture everything, but then they try to do everything, and that's impossible. You can do anything, but you can't do everything, so you need a way to filter. Here's the simplest priority system I've ever found. Every task gets asked 2 questions. Is this important, and is this urgent? Most things are neither. Some things are urgent, but not important. Those are usually other people's priorities that they're trying to make into your emergencies. A few things are important, but not urgent, and very few things are both. The stuff that's both important and urgent, you do today. The stuff that's important but not urgent, you schedule for later this week. Everything else either gets delegated or deleted. I know this sounds harsh, but here's the truth. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't matter, you're saying no to something that does. Your time is finite. Treat it that way. Once a week, I sit down and look at everything I've captured. I ask myself those 2 questions for each item, and I'm ruthless about it. If something's been sitting on my list for 2 weeks and I keep avoiding it, that's a sign. It's probably not actually important. So I delete it. Knowing what to do is pointless if you never actually do it, so you need a system for execution. And the best execution system I found is time blocking. Here's how it works. At the start of each week, you look at your priorities. Then you assign specific blocks of time to work on them. Not just a vague plan to work on something when you have time. Actual appointments with yourself. Monday 9 to 11, deep work on Project A. Tuesday 2 to 4, client meetings. Wednesday morning, content creation. Whatever your priorities are, they get time slots. And here's the key. You treat these blocks like actual meetings. You wouldn't skip a meeting with your boss because you didn't feel like it. Don't skip meetings with yourself either. I also use something called theme days. Mondays are for strategy and planning. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are for execution and creation. Thursdays are for meetings and communication. Fridays are for review and learning. This means I'm not switching context constantly. My brain knows what mode it needs to be in each day. The other part of execution is eliminating friction. If something is hard to start, you won't do it. So make it easy. If you want to exercise in the morning, lay out your workout clothes the night before. If you want to write every day, have your notebook and pen ready on your desk. If you want to eat healthier, prep your meals on Sunday. Small barriers feel like nothing, but they add up. Remove them and suddenly the things you've been putting off become almost automatic. Success isn't a destination, it's a direction. And the only way to keep moving in that direction is to keep learning and improving, but most people approach learning completely wrong. They read a book, watch a video, take a course, and then they do nothing with the information. It just evaporates. You need a system to capture what you learn and actually use it. Here's mine. Whenever I read something useful or have an insight, I write it down in my own words. Not just highlighting or bookmarking, actually writing it out. This forces me to process the information. Then once a month, I review everything I've learned. I look for patterns, connections, things I can apply, and I pick 1 or 2 ideas to actually implement in my life or work. This is so much more powerful than just consuming information constantly. You're actually integrating it. You're changing based on what you learn. I also have a feedback system. Every Friday afternoon, I do a quick review of my week. What worked? What didn't? What would I do differently? It takes maybe 15 minutes. But it means I'm not making the same mistakes over and over. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to be slightly better every week. And those small improvements compound into massive changes over time. This is the system that nobody talks about, but it's absolutely critical. You cannot sustainably produce without proper recovery. Your body and mind need rest to function properly. But most people don't have a system for rest. They just collapse when they're exhausted. And that's not recovery, that's emergency shutdown. Real recovery is planned and intentional. It means knowing when to stop working. It means protecting your sleep like it's sacred. It means having activities that genuinely recharge you, not just distract you. For me, recovery looks like this. I stop working by 6 in the evening, no exceptions. My phone goes on Do Not Disturb at 9. I'm in bed by 10. I get at least 7 hours of sleep every night. And 1 day a week, usually Sunday, I do absolutely no work. I spend time with family, I read for pleasure, I go for long walks. Whatever feels restorative. I also have micro-recovery built into my day. Between deep work blocks, I take 10-minute breaks where I completely disconnect. I'll go outside, make a cup of tea, just sit and breathe. This isn't wasted time. It's what allows me to stay focused and effective for the next block. You're not a machine. You can't run at full capacity all the time. And ironically, when you plan for rest, you actually get more done because the time you are working is so much more productive. So here's what this looks like in practice. You have a capture system that collects everything. You have a priority system that tells you what matters. You have an execution system that makes sure important things actually get done. You have a learning system that helps you improve. And you have a recovery system that keeps you sustainable. These 5 systems work together. They create a framework where success isn't about heroic effort or grinding yourself into the dust. It's about showing up consistently and making progress on the things that actually matter. And the beautiful thing is, once these systems are in place, they run almost automatically. You're not reinventing the wheel every day. You're not making hundreds of decisions about what to do and when to do it. You just follow the system. This frees up an enormous amount of mental energy. Energy you can use to be creative, to solve problems, to think strategically. That's where real breakthroughs happen. Not in the doing, but in the thinking about what to do. Look, success really is hard if you're trying to brute force it. If you're relying on motivation and willpower every single day, you're going to burn out. But with the right systems, success becomes almost inevitable. Because you're not fighting against yourself anymore. You're working with yourself. Start small. Pick one system from today. Maybe it's just getting a capture system set up. Write everything down for a week and see how it feels. Then add the next system. Build slowly, but build intentionally. Your future self will thank you for it. If you found this helpful, let me know in the comments. And I'll see you in the next one.